Hey, welcome to my brand new segment where we are going to talk about Switch. So, I plan to make this a weekly thing. We're going to talk Switch, everything Switch, Nintendo Switch, that is. I am a Nintendo fanboy. Well, I have to be honest. I started as a Sega fanboy, but we all know what happened with Sega. So my first console when I was 6 was a Sega Mega Drive, and I didn't have another one until the N64 came along. The N64, quite honestly, to this date I still believe was one of the best consoles out there, and I haven't been as excited about a console as I was about the N64 until we had the reveal trailer of the Nintendo Switch a few months pre-Christmas. So I was extremely excited to sit down and watch the presentation of the Nintendo Switch. Was I impressed? Not really. Am I still buying one? Woohoo! Yeah. I'm a sucker for a new gadget. I love the potential of the Nintendo Switch. I love what hopefully developers can do for it, and I want to be there when it's new and when it's out. I am extremely nervous that this console appears to be the Wii U all over again. Don't get me wrong, it's got so much more over the Wii U. As hardware goes, I don't think there's a problem with the hardware at all. Nintendo have done a good job of defining it as a new console, not another Wii console that nobody knew what it was, and it's just an add-on for the Wii, right? No. But yeah, and being a hybrid console, something you can take on the move. One thing I'm really looking forward to is we're going to Centre Parcs on the 13th of March. I will have my brand new Nintendo Switch, and I haven't got to leave it at home. I can take it with me, although there's not really anything to play on it. So the games lineup, 1-2 Switch, I like the look of. I'm one of the suckers that have just gone and paid. Well, I haven't paid 50 quid for it. I've paid 35 quid for it on Argos. Argos, for some reason, check out Argos if you want Nintendo Switch games and accessories. Argos for some reason seem to be cheaper. I've just pre-ordered Zelda, which we'll get to in a minute, for £50 instead of the everywhere else that's selling it for 60. So that's my tip of the day: is go and have a look at Argos if you're in the UK, of course. But yeah, so 1-2 Switch should be a bundled game. Let's face it, it's not going to have any longevity, but I am a sucker for the Nintendo party games, and it's one thing I'm looking forward taking to Centre Parcs to have a life. I haven't got a life. To have a laugh with friends and family whilst we're there. Although I'm pretty confident that post Centre Parcs it will sit there and gather dust. So that leads me on to the only real notable game that's available at launch, which is Zelda. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to turn around and say, how on earth are you a Nintendo fanboy if you don't really know much about Zelda? And I don't know much about Zelda. It's not really my sort of thing. I'm very much Mario, party games. I like some of my, proper gamer games like The Last of Us. I know that's not a Nintendo title, but, they're the sort of games I'm into. But because I have such a busy life with the girls and work and whatever, and the sadness of being a 30-year-old man and not having time for your consoles anymore means pick up and play games are largely what I'm about, and that's what I like about Nintendo. But because there's not going to be much out on launch day, I thought I didn't pre-order it to start with, but literally just now I've gone and pre-ordered it because I thought, well, I don't want to have a brand new console and not be able to play anything on it. Now, I've watched trailers of Zelda, and there's so much of me that's still like, it's not my thing. But there's a bit of me that thinks, well, actually, it looks like quite a good game. It could be quite a good game, and so I've bit of a bullet, and I've pre-ordered it. You know, there's no denying it's had so much work going into it. It looks stunning. I do like cinematic games with a good storyline, and with the amount of time this has been in development, I'm confident that it can at least grab my attention for a while, at least until something else reasonable comes out. I quite like Super Bomberman, but I can't afford to go and buy No Ender games, and again, I don't know if Super Bomberman is going to have longevity as perhaps Zelda, so that's why I bit the bullet and went for Zelda. I'm not really into Just Dance. I'm definitely one of the dad dancers out there. I can't dance to save my life, and Skylanders really isn't my thing. So, you know, looking to the future of the Nintendo lineup, well, that's pretty disappointing, isn't it? I mean, Snipperclips, I'm not going to buy straight away. It looks good, but I don't know. I'm going to wait and see more of what that's about. There's others that really, again, you know, lots of sort of Japanesey, anime, Zelda-y type games that aren't my thing. So short of Zelda, I'm not even going to give them a chance. I am very much looking forward to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. For the brief period of time, and yes, I was one of the suckers that pre-ordered a Wii U, and everybody told me not to, and I still did, and I still sold it about a year later, after it sat there for 8 months gathering dust. But one of the awesome games on it was Mario Kart 8. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe looks good. Again, it's a pick up and play. I can have a laugh with the missus in the evenings. Otherwise, we just sit there and we don't talk to each other. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and I am wetting myself about Mario Odyssey. I'm so gutted we've got to wait so long for it to come out. But that I don't like Mario in the real world. That looks a bit odd. You know, it reminded me of Sonic Adventure 2. That looks classic Mario. Again, being the N64 being one of my favourite consoles. I also had the GameCube, and both Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine to me are two of the best Mario games that were ever made, and they haven't made a sandbox game, as they stated, like that. By the way, boy did they make me feel old when they said that Mario 64 was 20 years ago. Thanks, Nintendo. But yeah, so I'm really excited about Super Mario Odyssey. I'm also excited about Sonic Mania, if any of you guys have seen the trailer for that. When I first saw it, I was like, really, a 2D? But actually, the more I thought about it, the more I'm really excited about getting a brand new 2D, old school Sonic, going back to classic, you know, doing what Sonic does best. Arms. Does anybody out there really, is anyone excited about Arms? It's Wii Sports with extendable arms. Wii Sports Boxing with extendable arms, and whoop-de-doo, I'm not interested. I'm also wondering if there will be anything on the online services. That would be nice to at least see something, even if it's some old console games, or you know the retro library games or something like that. That would be nice to see. I'm also interested to find out how much they're going to charge for their online services. You know, so something they announced in the presentation, which is definitely the right way to go. I totally agree with charging for online, but I just hope they don't go a bit ridiculous. I mean, I get the feeling, I don't know if you've seen the price of the peripherals, the accessories for the Switch, but you're talking what was it, 80 quid for a second set of Joy-Cons, 60 quid for a controller. Was it? I think it was nearly £100 for a second dock. Partly I don't see the need for a second dock when the idea is you can take it anywhere with you, including around the house. But I do also kind of like the idea of having a dock upstairs in the bedroom, so if the kids or the missus want to watch TV downstairs, I can go and whack it in the dock upstairs and carry on playing. But for £100, if I need to do that, I'll just stick it on the side and play it in tabletop mode, as they so call it. But yeah, the online services, if they are going to charge for them, well, they are going to charge for them, rather. They've said they're going to charge for them, and I totally agree with that. But let's hope they don't come up with some ridiculous price point like they have with their accessories. All of this gives me the feeling that they're trying to recuperate some of the massive loss that they inevitably had from the Wii U. And they're a business; they've got to make money, but you need to get, you need to get people back on board. And by coming out with these ridiculous price tags, that worries me that initially it's going to scare people off. And I'm sure we'll see a considerable drop in the price of them in the near future. But that's not the idea, really, is it? You need the attractive price points to start with. You need the third-party support to start with. There was definitely a lack of that. Controllers, I love the Joy-Con. They look so small in the tabletop mode, but everybody said how comfortable they are and how it works, and I trust Nintendo on that front. Nintendo, barring the Wii U, when they design a controller, a product, I feel like they put quite a bit of work into it, and especially with the Switch. I think that's the one thing they did learn from the Wii U was setting themselves apart, making it clear it's a completely new concept, a completely new console, and ensuring that it's the best that it can be, minus the support from third parties. So that's about all I've got to say on the Switch for now. I was quite surprised we still don't know tech specs, but so many people get hung up on tech specs, and that's not what Nintendo are about. Yes, tech specs are important, I get that, I understand it gives us an idea of what sort of games we're going to be able to get and what games we aren't, but Nintendo do their thing, and when they get it right, they do really well. And so far, with the hardware, I'm confident they've got it right. I just hope there's enough people that get on board, consumers and developers, to really, support this thing and allow it to be what it can be. Also, people moaning about 60 quid for a game. I'm not happy paying 60 quid for a game. I gave you my tip earlier about somewhere that's about Argos that's selling them a bit cheaper at the moment. But if any of you can cast your minds back to when the N64 came out, we were paying £60 for a game back then. That was, as they stated, 20 years ago, and we were paying 60 quid for the big games then. Please, Nintendo, make a remake of GoldenEye. Catch you next time on our new segment, Switch It Up. Cheers, guys.